Hi, this is Lori, and this is my homework for Paul McWhorter's Uno R4 course. This is for lesson 10. We're writing analog voltages with our Arduino and using that to control the brightness of an LED. All right, so here's the code I put together for lesson 10. Getting a lot of rain against the window here for my lab, and we're having I guess a spring nor'easter, and it's a pretty nasty day today. Good day to do homework. All right, so for lesson 10, we're learning how to use analog write in our Arduino code, and we need to set up an LED on one of the pins that will allow analog write. So I'm using a green LED on pin 9, and I have my circuit camera turned off for a moment just to make it easier to see the code here. I want to make a little more room just to look at it. So I decided to do this, go through the different brightness values. Paul asked us to make it increase in brightness and decrease in brightness using the analog write. And so I decided to create an array, which I call bright values, and so it'll start at a value of 1 and it'll double. As Paul was hinting, if you've been through Paul's classes before, we've learned many times about nonlinear brightness, perception of brightness being nonlinear. And so, when he was messing around in our lesson, he was, going by powers of 2. And so that's what I did in the array. And then so that I can create the pulse going up and down, I just extended the array to come back down in the brightness levels all the way to off. And then when I go through the void loop, I'll just kind of loop through this array of brightness values. And I'll need to know what the current index is, so I'll create a variable for that. It'll start off at 0. Then I need to know how many values are in the array, and you'll see why in the way I wrote the code. And then we'll have a delay time. I'll start it at 250 milliseconds, but it's definitely more fun when you go faster. So we'll change this and make it go faster. And I thought about adding another array of different delay times, but I'm working on some other projects, and so I just said I got to stop and just kind of get the basic of the homework done. All right, so in the setup, we'll set up our LED, and then this is some code I've learned working on another project for Arduino Code. This is a way to figure out how many elements there are in your array in Arduino Code. It's very simple to do in Python, but it doesn't seem to be that simple to do in C++. Or maybe I'm missing the easy way to do it. But this is a way I learned from some other folks, and it works pretty well. So I'm going to use this size of function here to figure out the size of the whole array and then the size of just one element, and that'll give you the number of elements in the array. Then we'll go into our void loop, and so we're going to use current index. It starts at 0, and we're going to increment it. You can see down here, we're going to increment it each time we go through the loop. But if it gets greater than the number of values that we have in our array, then we want to reset it and have it come and loop back around through the brightness again. So it just will continue to pulse as it loops through this loop here. And that's, you might use a for loop or something for that. As well, but you already have a loop going here with the void loop, so it's kind of just trying to take advantage of the void loop itself rather than using some other way of looping. All right, then we'll just write to the green LED the current brightness value we want to use. We'll use the delay time, and then we'll advance the current index, and we'll keep advancing it till it gets greater than or equal to the number of values, and then we'll stop and reset it, and so that way we can just keep pulsing through and using those brightness values. So in the end, it's a pretty simple piece of code, I think. And let's go ahead and plug it in. I have noticed that my my camera fades just briefly when I plug in the Arduino. Yeah, you can see. Now I'm back. So it does that. I'm not exactly sure why. I haven't had it do that on anything else. Let me turn on the picture of the setup, and yeah, let's check and make sure. Yep, everything's in view, so you can see it. It was already in at 250 milliseconds, so you can see my green LED getting brighter. We have a little diffuser on here, but yeah, as we all know, it's very hard to film LEDs and definitely LED brightness, but it's kind of slow, and I think it looks better when you make it go a little faster. So I'm going to change the delay time maybe to just 50 milliseconds. And we'll send that over to our Arduino. Oh, yeah, it lost track of it. Hold on. There we go. And let's see if we can send it. Yeah, it should go now. All right. And now you should see it pulsing very fast. I think that's a good amount. That's a pretty good speed, I think. And of course it looks a lot better in person than it does on the camera. I think that was the intent of the homework, and I kind of liked that way of using the void loop to do the loop rather than creating another loop inside of the void loop. But anyways, that's what I did for my homework. I want to thank Paul for the great lessons, and thank you for watching.